Hello and welcome to Knit Night 48 of the Sweet Lavender Knits podcast. My name is Christine and I'm coming to you from just outside of Toronto, Ontario in Canada. Today is October the 18th and it is a very gloomy day today and it's probably going to rain, so I thought I would do the filming of the podcast a little earlier in the day so I'm not losing light as I'm speaking, as it usually happens. I hope all of you have been safe and well over the past couple of weeks, and I hope that everyone is just snuggling in and getting cozy over October as we head into the cooler months in the Northern Hemisphere. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you will have a good summer and have enjoyed your spring so far. You can find me on social media on Instagram as sweet_lavender1 and on Ravelry as sweetlavender1. We also have a lovely group on Ravelry called the Sweet Lavender Knits Group. So come on by, check us out, and if you enjoy what you see there, do join in, and if you're up to it, introduce yourself in the welcome thread. Today I have some finished objects in knitting as well as a small sewing project, and I have more works in progress than usual because I've just had this feeling of wanting to cast on everything. What's it called? Castanitis. So yes, I just have been enjoying the cooler temperatures with more knitting, and I hope you have been too. And as we're getting into the fall or autumn season, everything is starting to slow down just a little bit, and I like it that way, where you're taking things at a decent pace and not rushing through it. So why don't you grab your needles, your favorite project, something nice to drink, and let's get started. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for receiving my latest design, the Splatter socks, very well, and for sharing the love. I really want to thank you for that. And I just want to make a correction in my last video on the design. I kept saying, I think I said it like 2 or 3 times, where I said it was Splatter was German for falling leaves. It's not falling leaves, it's fall leaves or autumn leaves. And I'd written down fall leaves and I thought I was missing the ing in my notes, so I kept filling it in with falling leaves. I'm sorry. So it is autumn leaves, and it is just a simple lace design down the front of your leg and foot, and you have some detail stripes of twisted rib down the back, and the heel flap and heel turn and gusset. Yes, so thank you very much for all of you, and I hope you were able to make use of the introductory offer. And for those of you who have not taken the pattern as yet, you can find it in my Ravelry shop. I will put the link down below, and I will also I also wanted to just say that for those of you who are not using Ravelry or don't have access to it, I have opened up a Payhip account, and all 3 of my designs are on there for purchase as PDF patterns. So if you are going to use Payhip and you purchase more than one of the designs, you get a discount on the second design. So I will leave a link down below for that as well. You can go check it out if you are interested. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. So the other thing, staying on with the thank yous, I want to reach out and say a very big thank you to one of my Instagram followers, and Dawn. I hope you don't mind me mentioning your name, Dawn. It was like the most perfect timing. She just reached out to me and told me how to simply create a Linktree account so that I could have all my links and in one place, and it'll be easy for everybody to access. And this was just, I think, a day before the pattern was released, so it was very, very good timing. So thank you, Dawn, for doing that. I hope you who have joined us for this knit night too, because she is a new viewer of the podcast, as well as new to my Instagram following. And it was really nice because I had no idea. I mean, you know, those are simple things. I'm very technically challenged. I don't know these things until I'm told what to do, and then I can sort of follow instructions. So it's really nice that you know, just out of the blue, someone reaches out to you and helps you like that. And this is what I like about the community, just, you know, the caring and sharing that we are so fortunate to receive and hopefully do give out as well. The second thing I wanted to say was I had planned for a knit along in just for over November. I know it starts to get very busy over the holiday season or closer to December or towards the end of the year, and so I thought we would just do a knit along, a sock knit along, and I was actually going to call it Socktober, but I think that is used, as well as I'm kind of late because it's almost the end of October. So let's do it in November, starting November 1st till November 30th, and it would be for socks. So if you are thinking of knitting a pair of socks, if you never knit a pair of socks, I encourage you to join in, because you have a whole month, and I don't ask that you finish both socks, I ask that you finish at least a sock. So what do you guys think? Would you be up for that? And all you have to do is knit a sock, not two if you don't want to, and we could do this knit along. I hope I've covered everything. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Today I'm having some tea, and this is lovely English tea shop, and it's an organic chocolate rooibos with vanilla, and it smells delicious. I have been drinking a lot of organic teas and just fruity teas and green tea a lot, just because I want to have something warm these days as it's getting colder, and trying to stay away from tea with milk, or you know, coffee with milk. Oh, that's good. All right, so and then another thing on the calendar before I forget is that we have been enjoying, a few of us have been enjoying getting together for virtual knit night on Zoom once in a while, and we have another Zoom night coming up on the 24th, I want to say, this Saturday. So if you are interested in joining in for a virtual knit night with us, it's just a couple of us, and you know, there's no pressure at all to join in. But if you are interested, then do let me know, and I will send you an invite either through Ravelry or through Instagram. So yes, so please do put in either your Ravelry ID or your Instagram ID down in the comments down below, so I'll know to send you an invite. And I'll probably send out the invite on Thursday, and usually what we have been doing is the knit night would be around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that should cover all of the time zones. So if you are able to make it, then that's great. I think that's all of the admin stuff. So let's move on to finished objects. So first off, I'm gonna put a picture of the pattern up on the screen because I don't remember the designer's name. This is a pattern called Naughty, and it is a pattern of a nautilus. I don't know if it's a mythical creature, but my 11-year-old son says that it's real. So it probably is. I know it was a fossilized creature, but he says that they still find nautilus now. So he wanted me to knit him this plushie, and so that's what I did. It is, I hope I'm holding it up correctly. So it's got like a snail shell kind of thing, and then it's got tentacles like squid. And I have to say that he really loves it. I didn't know whether he would enjoy it for this long. I thought it was like a passing thing that he wanted it, and then when I make it, he's not so excited about it after. But he loves it, and so does our dog Charlie. So he has to keep hiding it, so he keeps putting it in different places, and it's almost like treasure hunt, trying to remember where he put it the last time, so we have to keep looking for it. But I'm glad he's enjoying it, and this is absolutely just scrap yarn that I had. This is probably Red Heart. I don't even know what this yarn is, but it's acrylic yarn, and this is like the not so nice acrylic, but this is the softer acrylic, which is nice, so he can feel the tentacles. And so let me tell you about how I felt about knitting this. The colors were not my colors, but he picked the colors, so I was happy to knit it for him. And then knitting this twisted shell portion was very challenging for me. It was very hard on my hands, and the yarn is dark, so it was not as easy to see. There are actually two different colors in here. So there's a dark green that's a solid, and then there's this camo yarn that you can see more, but it's actually like striped all the way. So you have to keep alternating the yarn. So I had this yarn, and it was not the nicest feel of yarn, but anyways, we got through it. And once I went past the shell, it was so easy, and it was actually fun to knit. So then you knit up the shell in one piece, and then you start off with the head, and then you stuff it once you sew it on here, and stuff it and close it up, and then you knit up the tentacles. The tentacles, you have to pick up stitches and knit each one of them. So again, I was like, I'm not sure if I know how to do that, and if it'll come out neat. But as you can see, like, there's a little bit of fuzz that's poking out, which if I start to pull, there'll just be more fuzz coming through. So he's told me not to touch it, but I've tucked in the ends into the I-cord binding. So these are just basically I-cord bindings, or I-cords. I-cords that I've done, and I've tucked in the ends in there. You can see a little bit of the end poking out, but yeah, I think after playing with it for a little while, it might start to show as well. But it was a fun knit. So that is my finished object for today. It's the Naughty, and I will put the designer's name up on the screen. It's a free pattern on Ravelry that actually it's a web link that takes you to knitting newsletter or magazine. So the next thing is a sewing project. Now, I don't do a lot of sewing. I haven't been doing a lot of sewing recently. I do sew when I want to, but I haven't been sewing things that I've really wanted to share, except yesterday. This will tie in with one of my works in progress, and that's why I thought it was nice to show it to you. I was looking through the Making magazine in the morning. Was it yesterday, day before? Probably day before, and I have been eyeing this pattern in the Making magazine volume 1 since it came out. and it was the petal pouch. I will put a picture of it on the screen for you to see. And I liked it, and I thought that was really cute. It would make a really nice notions pouch. And then I just woke up and thought, well, what can I do today? It was one of those days I wasn't feeling so well, so I wasn't working, and I didn't want to just sit around and feel like I was sick, because then I tend to get more sick sometimes. And if I just get myself and push myself to do a little something, then I feel better. So that's not recommended for everybody. It's just, sometimes that's how my body works. But if you are sick, the doctor's recommendation is that you actually take some time and rest. And my kids keep reminding me of that. So anyways, the petal pouch, and so I found some fabric in stash that I had bought that seemed like very fall appropriate or autumn appropriate, and I just put it together. It did take me all day just to make a petal pouch, but it was more because it's not a difficult pattern, but it was trying to read instructions for a sewing pattern I have not done very often, and so interpreting that into what I understood it to be. So just understanding the instructions were written very well, but it's just me trying to understand them was a little challenging. So anyways, I put it together, and here's my my version of the petal pouch. It comes in two sizes, the small and the large. This is the large, and I thought this will be it's almost big enough to put in maybe one yarn with for a sock. So you could use it as a project bag, or if you wanted a really large notions pouch. So that's what it is. So this is the fabric that I use. It's got some birds and owls and cardinal and let me see, a robin. I thought I saw a robin somewhere. Yeah, but it was really cute. And then I put in some nice sunny fabric on the inside. It's got some daisies, and I thought it'll just be nice to have some light fabric on the inside, so that you can see everything that is in there. If it's a notion pouch, you can see it. I am not very good at sewing on curves, so I will show you very closely, but don't look too close, as to my top stitching that I did. It's a little wonky, and you can see that the zipper is not evenly spaced, but I tried my best. It has a little tab on the end as well to finish it off nicely, and you could put in a little pull for the zipper if you'd like, and a little tab on the side. This, I think I should have made it a little longer, but as per the instructions, that's the size it came out to. Yeah, so what can I say? Oh, it's got a curved bottom. So the reason it's called a petal pouch is because it's got darts that give it a curved bottom. Like, if I can show it to you, and if I can see what I'm looking at, there we go. It's got these tiny darts on the side here, 4 darts, and all of that was easy enough for me to do. The most fiddliest part for me was the zipper because of the curve. And I've sewn zippers in the past, and it's not been such an issue, except this time I really botched it. Like, I basted the stitches, the zipper before I did the stitches. I tried my best, but yeah, anyways, this is it. So yeah, this is what I made, and this is my finished object, also my sewing finished object. Moving on to works in progress. So I have, like I said, a few more works in progress than I usually do, so I will try to go through them as quickly as I can without being too chatty about it. So, oh, before that, I just wanted to say I'm wearing my Zweig sweater. Is it sweater? by Caitlin Hunter, and it is in lovely Cozy Posy Yarn Co's sweater weather. And this mustard on the lace is turmeric, and I think it's Debbie Bliss, I can't remember now, but yes, and it is just the perfect it's the perfect thing to wear today because it's a little on the cooler side and it's just cozy, and I love these colors for fall. If you could just see out my window right now, there is a tree right outside and it's all yellow and orange, and it matches with my sweater. So yes. And this is now kind of funny that I'm holding it up while I'm wearing the sweater, is the sock that I'm knitting, which is also in the same yarn. It's actually the leftover from my stash for this yarn. And it is Cozy Posy Yarn Co's Sweater Weather. And it is a tube socks that I am knitting for my oldest son, Adrian. And this is where I was the last time I showed you. So I put in a little stitch marker, progress keeper, and it is by Chapel View Crafts, and her stitch markers and progress keepers are so beautiful and realistic. I really love it. So yeah, and so this is where I was, and I've done a whole bunch more than that. The pattern is just very simple. It's not really a pattern from anywhere. It's just broken rib, 3x1 broken rib on the front of the foot, and of course I'm just doing stockinette on the back of the foot. And this marker here that I've put in is just to show the midway point. So I measured it out that he needs about this much. It's blowing out this much. And I've put in a scrap yarn for the heel that I will be doing an afterthought heel, and that's his foot. So now I just need to match it up and knit the other half this way. So usually when I'm knitting tube socks, I have another one, I will show that to you. It's just usually they're knitting in like stockinette because you're just knitting a tube. You cast on with a cuff, whatever, the 56, 64, and in this case 72 stitches. I'm using 2.25 millimeter needles. I believe these are like Addies. And you just knit a whole tube, and once you're done that, you can cut in for a heel and toes. But because I had a pattern going and I wanted to continue that pattern, I needed to switch it up to do a pattern on one side and stockinette on the other. So it's just something that, you know, it just evolved as I started knitting it, really. There was no rhyme or reason to it. But yeah, that is my first work in progress. Moving on to the second work in progress, it's another sock pattern that I cast on after my last knit night with you guys, and it is a tube socks also. So this one is just plain stockinette that I've knit all the way through, and if you are wondering where have I seen this yarn before, it's because this is again leftovers from a pair of socks that I knit the last Christmas on the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply, and this was their Christmas colorway for last year. I believe it's called Robin or something like that, I can't remember. And they have another colorway for this year that they've come out with. It's got blues and whites in it, which is pretty nice as well. So I had leftover yarn, so I thought I would make a pair of socks for my youngest son, Joshua. And I just used a different color for the cuff, and I will be using the same yarn. It's just, I don't know what kind of yarn it is actually. probably has some acrylic in it as well, but it's wool and acrylic blend. And I'll be using the same for the heels and toes as well. So I thought I would do another tube socks, and tube socks seems to be easy for me. I'm just like knitting, and you'll see that a lot of my patterns that I'm working on right now have just gone to just stocking net. I didn't want to like concentrate too much on charts and working through patterns and all that. So I'm just trying to keep knitting and enjoying that, if that makes sense. So the third work in progress is one that I have really enjoyed over the last couple of weeks, and it is this cardigan that I'm working on that doesn't have a name, and I maybe should like come up with a name for it. I'll call it my Advent cardigan. I'm trying to incorporate the Advent minis that I received last year into a project where I could see all of the different colors, and this is what I'm working on. So like I showed you the last time, this is where I was, and I've where this little yummy stitch progress keeper is another one from Chapel View Crafts, and I have now worked up further on that, and you can see that I am a slow knitter, so for me to be able to work all this, it's quite a bit along with all of the other projects. And I have to say that I easily pick this up and want to work on it because it's just stocking net, and I'm incorporating the colors as I'm working through it. So the way I've thought to do it, and sort of keep it random but at the same time with a plan in mind, is to do 3 rows of a color before I switch to the next color. So this is 3, and I think I did 2, or this is 3, and then now I'm on the 3rd of the last one as well, so now I'll be switching a color. So it's been a lot of fun, and this is going to be my very first steeking project, like I mentioned the last time. So I don't have a lot of experience with steeking. I'll tell you, I started off with just adding a few stitches, and it wasn't even all the way at the end. I just decided, at first was deciding to like do a cardigan, knit back and forth, and then I thought, no, let me just try steeking. So I started some stitches, I added some stitches in and started working in the round. And then I was just like working through and thinking, anything between the steek is not really going to show. So I was very like haphazard about it and not very neat. And then I don't know why I thought that we had to like do these 2 rows on both sides. But now when I look at how others do the steeking, I realize that what they're doing is doing a crochet chain up onto both sides of the stitch that they want to cut up on for the steek. And so for a while, I don't know what made me think that I had to knit it like that. So I was trying to do that, and I'm glad I stopped because I thought that's absurd, because it was just getting too messy at the back and I didn't understand what it is. So now when I go back and do my crochet chains, I really do need to like reinforce that spot and just make sure that it's holding well. And because it's a learning process, I'm just gonna have to like fumble with it until it works, sort of thing. And sometimes that's the way you learn. So that is that. So these are the minis that I have ready to go into that project. And what I have been doing is keeping them in a little bag with little numbers so I know which yarn goes next, because I have to sort of do the same for the sleeves. So I thought I would just like keep tab of it that way. And so the next one on the list is going to be my dark blue, and then I'm sort of like working, can you see that? And I'll work my way around this way, so I end up with the purple, which is one of my favorite colors, up towards the neck, hopefully, if everything works out. We'll see. So that is the plan. I'll keep you guys posted. This is a little crochet basket that I crocheted a while ago, and oops, it's blowing out. There we go. And it had like the owl eyes on it, but I liked it for a bit, and then after that I didn't. I felt like the eyes just took away from the basket itself, so I just removed the eyes, and that's what it is right now. So I like it. It's a nice project for me to just put this in, and it looks like a bowl of yarn, which looks pretty too, so I can keep it there and knit on it and just know which color is coming up next. So that is my third work in progress. Now moving on to the fourth work in progress, and I usually don't have as many things on the needles that I work on at the same time, but these past couple of weeks have just been like that, where I've wanted to do everything, and I told myself that it's okay to start on something when I haven't finished another thing, because I just needed to do it when I felt like it. That way at least I was doing something and not getting held back because I wasn't enjoying what I was doing. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just how I was feeling. It was like after I knit on something for a while, I couldn't knit on it anymore. It's probably because it was like the tube socks for Adrian, and I was like, oh man, it's taking me it's taken me a long time just to finish a pair of socks. So that was like, it's hard on me because I'm thinking, well, I have to be doing this, I have to be doing that. And I really need to remind myself to take things slow. And sometimes, it's just busy, and you just need to get things done. I don't like working towards deadlines in my knitting, or my crafting, I should say, because we have enough deadlines to meet in other areas of our life. So I like to just be able to relax a little bit with my crafting. So I was working on the scrappy or the Advent cardigan project, and then I thought, I would really like to do this pattern from the Making magazine, and it's been on my mind for a very long time. And I think I saw somebody's Instagram, and they'd posted a picture. In their post, they were wearing that pattern. And so it's been on my mind for a very long time, and after I saw the post, I was like, I'm just gonna cast it on. I'm gonna knit it, and I'll finish it when I finish it. So that's what I did. I have cast on for the Buds and Branches pullover. I want to say the designer is Carrie Bostic, but I'm not sure. I will put it up on the screen. It is a very, very popular pattern when it came out, and everybody wanted to knit it, and everybody did. And there were lots of mixed reviews. The pattern is a beautiful pattern, but I've heard quite a few people say that there were issues with the neck being a little too broad. So I was aware of that, and I didn't want to take a chance because I didn't know how wide the neck was going to be. So I have cast on and I've knit quite a bit. And what I did is I did a provincial cast on that the pattern does not call for the cast on. So I did a provincial cast on. The reason for that is if I find that the neck is too wide, then I can just pick up those stitches. Well, I have to pick up those stitches and finish the neck. So I can either cinch it in a little bit or just finish it off if it's fine, if it's the right size for me. I am knitting it in the large. up until I finish the yoke, and then once I split for the sleeves, I will have the count, I will have to adjust it so that the body is for medium and the sleeves are for an extra large. And I usually do have to play with the numbers for sleeves all the time because I have larger upper arms. So yeah, that's what I will have to do. So I'm starting off with extra large, and I am using, I believe this is 3.75 millimeters. Nope, I can't see. Yes, so that is what I have knit so far. I finished the colorwork section of it all together. So now it's just a little bit more of the increases for the yoke, and then splitting it up for the sleeves, separating the sleeves, and then knitting stockinette for the body. What can I tell you about the yarn? The yarn is from Knit Picks. It is Gloss DK in the color Velveteen. That is this color here. And then the color work, I have done it in some leftover yarn that I had from my Rocaine pullover. And it is also by Knit Picks, and it is DK Swish in the colorway Bordeaux. So I thought it would just have a nice contrast, and it was either this color or a dark blue that I have, or it's like a navy blue maybe, but the navy blue I have a sweater quantity, and so I didn't really want to break into that yet because I did want to use it up for another sweater project. Yeah, so that is what I've done so far, and I am so enjoying this pattern. And I have to say the color work is so easy. It is almost, you can memorize it, you know, after the first chart. There are very small charts. I think they're like 4 stitches, 4 stitch charts with about 9 rows, and it's so memorizable that after the first time of doing the chart, the second chart is just the reverse of it. And yeah, so you kind of have to, it's a paid for pattern. So but it is definitely one, if you are thinking of dipping into a yoked colorwork jumper or sweater, this is definitely an easy one for you to start off on. You don't have to do the provincial cast on. I think the pattern just calls for you to just cast on that many stitches. So you can try a cast on that has a nice finish to it. So those are my works in progress, and it has been really fun just dabbling in all of the different projects and working them as and when I had the time to. And I don't have anything as far as acquisitions this time to share with you. Actually I do, but I can't remember what it is, and I didn't write it down. I know there was something I wanted to share. You know, I'm thinking that I should have a little basket that I just put everything in for the podcast. Yes, so if you were here just for the knitting content, that was it. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you will come back again for the next knit night. And if you are going to hang around, I'm just going to chat a little bit about what's been going on over the last couple of weeks. It was quite busy towards the end of September. Actually, September, all through September was very busy, and I'm sure it was for many of you. We had our kids go back to school virtually. So my 2 older ones are in university now, and they had their classes online. And my younger son, he's in grade 6, and we opted for him to go to school, do virtual school for this year. So his virtual school is the largest school in our region. because so many kids have opted to stay at home and not physically go to school. We were given that option, and I think all of the different regions in Ontario had the same thing happening. So we had a full house every day during the work days or weekdays, and we were both, my husband and myself, we work out of home as well. So it was just quite busy, and lots of new things happening for them as they're learning their new formats, and different interactions with the teachers for my little ones that we had to get involved in. And it was just busy. At the same time, I was also working on my releasing the pattern design, and so I had to prepare for that as well. So all of that just was, it didn't leave me a lot of leisure knitting. It was more about, you know, focusing on the pattern and knitting, just to sort of give myself a little break, and it was all about that. So right after the pattern was released, the beginning of October, all I wanted to do was just knit anything and everything that I wanted to knit. And you know, it was just like a vacation, knitting vacation basically. And that's what I did. And by the time in October, the kids are a little more settled in their classes and knowing what they were doing and all of that. So it was a little easier, I have to say, in October, the first 2 weeks. But the weather was just, it's October weather, right? So it's really hot one day, it was really cold another day. So inevitably I had to fall sick, and you know, just the cold and the cough and the aches and the pains, everything that comes along with it. And I am thankful that it didn't last too long, so I was able to still get up and do everything that I needed to do. And like I was saying, that I sometimes even push myself to do something little different, or just get out of bed and do something so that I would feel better. Now we're heading into colder days. The last few days have been quite cold, where it is about 5 or 6 degrees in the morning when we walk Charlie. So, and because I wasn't feeling well, I haven't really gone out in the mornings for a walk for the past 3 days. But I have really been enjoying the autumn changing of colors, whether it's even in our backyard or in the park that we walk over to. It is beautiful. And I have to say, like, after spring is a very short season for us now, like over the last few years, but fall has to be my favorite season. It is so cold. I like that coziness and just forcing you to slow down just a little bit, and, you know, try and appreciate all the things you can do outdoors while you are still, you know, being cozy if you want to stay indoors. So cleaning up in the garden and putting things away, like patio furniture and things like that for the winter, has been fun. And, you know, just being able to stay at home, I've been able to do more of those things, which is also something that I enjoy. So yeah, that is it. I hope all of you have been keeping safe and keeping well. And if you have been hanging around for this long, thank you very much. And if you are interested in that Zoom call, wanting to join in for the virtual knit night on this Saturday, and the time I will confirm, but I will be able to send out an invite to you if you are interested. So please do drop a comment down below with your Ravelry or your Instagram ID. Yes, so that is that. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed our knit night together. I hope you got some knitting or crafting done. Thank you all for your lovely comments and what you've been sharing, what you've been working on. I really do enjoy reading those comments and love the interaction and being able to respond to you. Please do continue to leave me those comments either here on YouTube or Ravelry. You can do that as well. I check Ravelry not as often, but I do get notifications for YouTube. I always try and catch up on the weekend with my YouTube comments. So I hope all of you will keep well, and until next time, happy knitting. Bye-bye.